Hi, everyone. This is Robin again. Welcome. Today, I'll be talking about proposal 853 on the Cosmos Hub again. Some of you might have seen the previous interview I had with Mikhil when the proposal was first posted on the forum discussion. But now that the proposal has passed and the atoms have been deployed on Astroport and Dexter, I thought it was a good idea to come back to it and see what the next steps are. So who better to talk to than Mikhil himself? So welcome, Mikhil. Happy to have you back here.
Hey Robin, hey everyone. Thanks for doing this again. And I know you have a busy day, so we'll just keep this one relatively short. But very happy to be back. I think a lot has happened since we put out the discussion on the forum itself. Things have changed quite a bit for persistence as well in terms of the sentiment, in terms of the traction, in terms of people now looking at the applications. We've already launched STK Osmo after the proposal passed. In fact, the day after the proposal passed, STK Osmo went live. So there's been a lot happening with persistence pSTAKE, and I'm very happy to be here and talk about what the next steps are. So yeah, looking forward to this discussion.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, I would like to start to just ask how you are. I mean, it has been a long time since the initial forum discussion, and now it finally got through. And if I remember well, voting started off slow. It tilted towards no first, but then it shifted back to yes. It must have been really exciting or even stressful for you to watch the process. So how are you feeling after all this?
I think it's a very normal feeling. I mean, I don't consider that as a stressful thing. I enjoy being a part of Cosmos, and the biggest thing about Cosmos is the governance aspect of it. Like, you take the governance out of Cosmos, you've sucked the fun out of Cosmos in a way. Most people like to consider it drama and give some negative connotation to it. I think it's a positive. There's no other ecosystem that comes alive when you have such discussions. So for me, I didn't feel like stressed out, or I didn't feel, oh, this is great. For me, it was about what's the job. The job is to get the proposal to pass, and for us to make sure that people in the community know what we are trying to do, what we're trying to achieve, every single thing that we've done so far, how that ties into what we want to do next. And so that is how I was feeling early on. When we saw a few no's, I was like, okay, maybe it's more important for us to be out there and communicate to people that this is how this proposal benefits uh, the Cosmos Hub, pSTAKE, and the Cosmos ecosystem as a whole. So I'm quite excited the proposal passed. I'm obviously happy about it, but there's a lot of work to be done going forward, and I'm sure 2024 is going to be a massive year. I'm not sure if some of the listeners here joined the persistence ecosystem community call that we had last week, but that was kind of good call, where we talked about all the things persistence has done in the year 2023 and all the things that we intend to do in the year 2024. So yeah, I think feeling excited and obviously energetic to go into 2024 with more energy and just persist through that year and do better than what we've done in 2023.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you said. I mean, I really don't have the feeling that we are taking it slow now. So even that proposal passed now, like you mentioned, only one day after passing, pSTAKE announced the launch of STK Osmo. I see teasers about STK DYDX, STK XPRT that will come soon, XPRT governance for Dexter. I mean, what's up with all that?
Yeah, I think the idea is to never slow down. You take some time to energize yourself, but you go back at it again. And for you know some of the members in the team, I think people have been going at it for years now, and there's no sign of slowing down. So that's never. I think that's not something we consider slowing down. Obviously, it's good to look back and reflect on things and see where you can improve. But in terms of delivery, the engineering team has been bolstered this year, and the quality of the products that have been delivered and shipped has just kept on getting better and better. So if you ask me, like, yeah, are we planning on slowing down? Not at all. I think this, like I said, this is just the start of something very meaningful and very fruitful. I think so far, if you've looked at Cosmos and liquid staking, you would feel that, okay, this is headed towards where Ethereum is today, with Lido dominating liquid staking in the Ethereum ecosystem. But from where I am sitting, I can assure you that's not going to happen, because we're going to go at it, and we're going to make sure people start using our products and start loving them. So this proposal is just the start of it.
That's really amazing to hear. Absolutely. Now, coming back to the proposal, what actions have been taken already, or what are the next steps now that the funds are allocated to pSTAKE?
Yeah, so last week we deployed the funds, so 300K atoms. There were a bunch of test transactions done with the multi-sig committee sitting together and signing some transactions to make sure we test the flow of assets first. So 300K atoms were liquid staked with pSTAKE, and then a few days later, those assets were deployed on Astroport and on Neutron and Dexter on Persistence. So with that behind us, the next step is, how do we get more liquidity? Because the start of this proposal was, how does it help pSTAKE, right? And it helps pSTAKE because it gets more liquidity towards pSTAKE, and it makes STK Atom more liquid. The moment STK Atom is liquid, more people will start coming in and supplying liquidity, or acquiring STK Atom to do certain things, because they feel comfortable that, okay, when I have to get out of STK Atom into Atom, there's enough liquidity out there. So that was the premise of this proposal from a pSTAKE perspective, which is now secured. But the most important thing is, if we have to rely on this hub POL for a very long time, then it's not. Then pSTAKE hasn't done justice to the liquidity that it has been allocated or given out as some sort of a loan to right from the hub. So if you ask me what are the next steps, the most important thing is to get more liquidity. So if you look at the Dexter pool, or STK Atom pool on Dexter, there's 400,000 pSTAKE tokens allocated towards that pool for a 30-day period, which means liquidity providers on Dexter for the STK Atom pool earn a share of this 400K pSTAKE tokens. The current incentives are about, if I'm not wrong, 39-40%, but that keeps on changing depending on pSTAKE token price. It also depends on how much liquidity exists in the pool already. So the idea behind having more incentives towards this pool was to attract more liquidity providers and users. That was the premise behind this. Similarly, if you look at the Astroport pool on Neutron, which is sorry, should I say the STK Atom pool on Astroport on Neutron. That pool has the hub POL liquidity already deployed, and 100,000 pSTAKE tokens have been allocated there as well for a 30-day period to attract more liquidity. So we've taken the first steps, which is to supply incentives to get more liquidity to these pools. The moment we have more liquidity in these pools, the pSTAKE team is working with contributors to Mars, Mars contributors, to get that Mars integration done, which means the moment pSTAKE has enough liquidity, STK Atom has enough liquidity, it'll be integrated with Mars, and you can you can use STK Atom as a collateral asset on Mars. Similarly, the idea is to go after every other borrowing lending platform within Cosmos, make sure that pSTAKE issues these LSTs that have liquidity and that can then be used as collateral in every possible way, whether it's to borrow another asset or to mint a stable coin. That's the high level idea. In terms of going even more aggressively about building liquidity, so Persistence Labs, I'm not sure if listeners here saw that, but I posted on the Astroport forum about Persistence Labs showing an interest to acquire $300,000 worth of Astro tokens to participate in Astro Wars, thus driving more incentives towards the pSTAKE pools. Obviously, for a lot of complexities and legal reasons that did not go through, but we figured out a way to do an OTC deal for Persistence Labs to acquire those a significant amount of Astro tokens. So Persistence Labs has shown a keen interest in kind of supporting pSTAKE to build out that liquidity for STK Atom pool on Neutron on Astroport, to make sure that STK Atom grows. Now with all of this, if STK Atom grows, it means more liquidity flows to Astroport on Neutron, which is an ICS consumer chain. So it also benefits the AEZ. And in fact, Persistence is the first chain to receive liquidity from the hub community pool, being a non-ICS consumer chain, right? So that in itself is a big thing. So there are a few things planned for the next few months, a few strategic moves that we are looking to make to ensure STK Atom reaches into the hands of a lot more people, and it's an exciting asset for people to hold. We want it to be a pristine collateral asset, which means it needs a lot of liquidity, and for that liquidity to be built out, that's our number one priority.
All right, thanks for that answer. Well, I had one more answer. I think you touched upon it a little bit already, but some people, and I think both supporters as non-supporters of the proposal, might have this question: when will atom holders see benefits of this proposal?
That's a very good question. I think there's a few moving parts here that we need to clarify, right? So benefits of the proposal can be in various forms. It can be in, obviously, the most easiest form to look at, which is how a lot of people might look at it, is the revenue that flows to the hub through this proposal. Now that revenue is 15% of all Atom staking, liquid staking revenue that comes through pSTAKE over the duration of this liquidity provisioning from the hub community pool. So that's the easiest way to look at revenue. The other way to look at revenue is also the trading volumes on the Astroport pool, on the Dexter pool. Those are the simpler forms of looking at how I can say, if somebody asks me, how is this gonna benefit the hub? That's the simpler answer. The more complicated answer and the bigger answer, I would say, which I think is the most important answer also, is the fact that it's a long-term process, but as more and more Atom gets liquid staked through pSTAKE or through any liquid staking provider for that matter, Atom inflation keeps going down further and further. But that's one part of it. The more exciting part, in my opinion, is the creation of more token sinks. Now, right now, Atom is just staked. Or if you're not keen on staking, you might just hold it. But there's not enough DeFi opportunities for Atom to be used in. So you want more and more DeFi opportunities for Atom and liquid staked versions of Atoms. But if you can build those token sinks, and when I say token sink, what I mean is places where your token can be logged, places where Atom can get logged and generate yield for end users. That's what we are looking to do, right? As a Cosmos community. So the idea is to, when we start seeing more Atoms getting liquid staked, it means there's more demand for yield from DeFi in Cosmos. And I think that's the more exciting part, where the Cosmos hub community actually starts seeing benefit when there's more and more token sinks for Atom and liquid staked versions of Atoms. And that requires deeper liquidity for liquid staked versions of Atom. So I think within 6 to 9, 12 months, we'll start seeing the effects of how this proposal has helped the Cosmos hub in a way where you can then start seeing the growth in STK Atom numbers, the circulating supply of STK Atom as and when it starts increasing. And also the staking ratio of the hub starts increasing in tandem. It's not the actual Atoms being the Atoms that are already staked getting converted to liquid staked. What's more exciting is when the non-staked versions of Atoms get liquid staked. You start seeing the true benefits of this proposal. So I would say give it 6 to 9 months, but that's when things start getting exciting.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Well, I'm gonna conclude this call here, Mikhil. Thank you very much for your time again. And I mean, the holidays are behind the corner, so if I don't see you anymore, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I'm super excited to see what Persistence will bring in 2024.
Absolutely. Thanks, Robin. And don't worry, you'll see me around every single day.
Perfect.
Have a good holidays.
Thank you. Bye, Mikhil.